I quite like upgrading my gravel bike, and I bet you do too. You might want it to be faster, you might want it to be better on techie terrain, you might just want it to have more carrying capacity. But there are upgrades that I think are better than others, so I thought I'd go through what I think are the best and the worst upgrades for your gravel bike. And I'll try to cover why I think you should avoid some things, because I don't really want you to waste your money that could be better spent at the cafe stop. We're starting with tyres because they make a huge difference to the quality of your ride and therefore my inner peace. And where a particular tyre actually goes on this ranking depends entirely on where you use it, if that makes sense. So something like, say, a Schwalbe Marathon Plus, that's a really robust tyre. And it's not a gravel tyre, but it's a really robust city tyre. But it's great in the city, but if you used it on gravel, it would be terrible. So just bear that in mind. Now, my recommendation for a tyre line right now is the Vittoria Terreno tyre line. But even in here, a tyre like the T90, which has been fantastic for me through the winter, would not really be very, very good in the summer because it would just be a little bit too slow on sort of kind of dusty gravel. In a similar sense, some people really, really like XC mountain bike tyres, but others just find them a bit too big and cumbersome, and maybe they just feel slow to them, even if rolling resistance data suggests that they're even faster than kind of wider gravel tyres. Who knows? Some gravel race tyres these days are effectively just big road racing tyres. So they've got really no traction whatsoever. Their focus is purely speed. And if that's what you're going for, then they're great. But if you want traction on more looser terrain, or looser gravel, I should say, they might not be the best bet. So really consider what your riding is going to be and buy the tyres that suit that kind of riding. Don't just buy what the pros are riding, you know, in the biggest races like Unbound. But tyre choice is absolutely essential, and I am going to put these straight in at number one, top of the tree. I'm happy to pay quite a bit of money for tyres, especially if they are the right tyres. If you buy correctly here, then you're giving yourself the biggest chance of just having a nice day on the bike. Okay, next up is a bit of a curveball, but I think that increasingly everyone should be doing frame facing to their new bike, especially if you've bought a frame set. Honestly, this doesn't really matter whether you're buying something from the budget end of the spectrum or a top-end race bike. I would say that if you face your bottom bracket and you face the brake mounts, and while you're there, probably chase the threads if you've got a threaded BP, you're just going to give yourself a longer lifespan on bearings, and your brakes should stay straight. And that means you're going to give yourself more pad clearance and increase the chances of having no brake rub, even after sustained heavy braking. If you've actually been having problems with either wearing through bearings at an alarming rate, or your brakes always seeming to rub, maybe take a step back, especially if you've got some downtime off the bike. Give your bike to a bike shop because they've got all the specific tools for this. They've got the knowledge. Pay for them to do the facing, do the chasing, and hopefully you won't even notice it because now your brakes will be quiet and your bearings will last longer. In my opinion, this is a product that shouldn't even exist. Honestly, most seem to be mountain bike or cross-country mountain bike shoes with just a dusty color for effect. Some are going to be slightly lighter or something, but honestly, they just seem to cost more money, and I don't really see the benefit of going for a gravel shoe over a cross-country mountain bike shoe. I would also say you could even use your road shoes if you, one, don't care about them getting dirty, and two, know you won't be walking too much on your gravel rides. And for some people, especially those of you in North America, where I envisage there are lots of open, lovely gravel roads, walking might not just be an option. And there are some benefits to going for road shoes, maybe a bit more of a stable pedaling platform. But then if you're gonna go down the mountain bike route, I'd say probably just go for cross-country mountain bike shoes instead of going for gravel shoes. They don't make a lot of sense to me. Next up is Aero Socks, which actually do make a surprisingly big difference to your kind of wattage savings. And they are worth the cash if you are racing, for example, but otherwise, I personally wouldn't bother. I'm just gonna pop them in C because they kind of depends what you're doing. Another thing that I'll pop in C, kind of like Aero Socks, hydration packs. They're great for certain applications. I wore the Canyon one for Tracker last year, and actually I found it really good if you want to sip on your drink while you're riding on techie stuff. My issue with them is that they are quite sweaty, they're a bit heavy kind of up top, and they are really, really annoying to clean if you put anything other than water in them. So for me, again, decide on whether you really need to be taking that much water or if you need to be drinking while doing really techie stuff. But a C for me. Electronic gears are next, and I'm popping these into B. They are lovely to use and I have them on all of my bikes, but they are not needed. Mechanical systems are fantastic. You get maybe a bit more reliability with them. And also the shift quality is amazing now. It's not like 5-10 years ago where mechanical was actually not that great compared to an electronic system. So these are going into B for me. If you want to pay for them, great. Personally, I think mechanical is not dead, not quite yet. This might be a surprising one, and quite honestly, I'm ready to get some heat in the comments for this, but I think bar bags should go into D. I just don't get on with them. My computer mount actually prevents me from getting my hand kind of towards the zip and opening them and getting my snacks, basically. I got sweets in there. My Rafa one that I bought rattles. It looks nice, but to me, it just doesn't function that well. So it's a lot of stuff on the front of my bike without much effect. Now, maybe if I went bike packing, this would completely flip and it would go up to an A because it might be good for passports and stuff that you're not reaching for frequently. But for my kind of riding, bar bags are into D. What goes into A is a top tube bag. Now these, for me, are just better because I get quicker, easier access to the things that I need, tools and food. They are also sleeker, I think, because they fit in line with the top tube. I like these. I like these a lot. This is another one that I think I'm gonna cop a lot of heat for in the comments because they're heavy, they're very expensive, they require regular servicing, but suspension forks, they're going into A for me because they can open up new terrain for your bike, but also they give me a lot of confidence when I'm on descents. And for that, they give me a lot more ability to go fast and just enjoy descending, which I think is a lot of fun. Will I actually put one on my own bike, on my Crux? Probably not yet, because of those factors, the expense, and probably just the, the regularity that you need to service them. It's not worth it currently for me, but in theory, they're an A. I know that's a bit of a weird one. You'll have to go with me. A much cheaper upgrade is bar tape, and this is going in right into the top for me. I think this is a fantastic way to refresh the front end of your bike. It can add grip and it can add comfort. I don't think those are massive things, but it's just a nice way to spend a little bit of money on your bike, maybe at the start of each season. If I buy my bike some, let's say, £30 bar tape, I feel really bougie. I feel like I'm treating my bike, but it's only a £30 upgrade. And to be honest, I'm never spending £30. I'm getting something in the sales when it's cheap. Power meters for me are going into D because while they're great for making you faster if you use them wisely, I just think I find in my own gravel riding, I'm never really looking at power meter data. I never get home and think, oh, I wonder how many watts I did on that climb, because the way or the speed that I go up a climb, especially a techie climb, is dependent on the skill of how I rode it. And that can change, day to day. And for me, the exploration, the chasing mates down trails and all of that good stuff, that's the appeal of gravel. It's not the power numbers. So a power meter is very effective for making you faster, but for me, gravel is about something different. So a power meter as an upgrade for gravel bikes That's going into D. What's going into A is a tubeless plug tool. So if you get this purchase right and you learn to use it correctly, it is going to save you time in the event that your sealant can't actually seal a puncture. If you're racing, you'll probably already know this is an absolute necessity. And I would say that while you're here, get your saddlebag or wherever you're carrying your tools and spares and stuff, get that sorted. It's a pretty boring purchase, I have to admit, but it's essential for gravel because it's not a case of when or if you get puncture in gravel, it's when. These are going into A. As a British gravel cyclist, I think there is no greater upgrade that you can make to your gravel bike, especially for winter riding, than Mudguards. So these are going into the God tier for me. If I was going to suggest a set for you, the SKS Speed Rocket XLs are brilliant. I've been using them all winter. My review should be up on road.cc now. If it isn't, I'll add a link in the comments when it is. But these are fantastic. They give really, really good coverage for you. They're not perfect. You know, a bit can get through at the top of the fork, but they also provide quite a bit of splash protection for the people behind you. So if you're doing some road sections and there's a lot of standing water, they just prevent you from getting covered. And I don't mind getting muddy when I go for a gravel ride. I race cyclocross, for Christ's sake, but I don't want to, in the first 10 minutes of a ride, get absolutely drenched from the ground up. So these are really, really worth it for me. What's not worth it for me are carbon spokes. I'm going to put carbon spoke wheels for gravel into D. They do make the wheels lighter and stiffer, and this is fantastic on road climbs. I mean, Yolio's 60mm hoops, they climb incredibly well, and they don't really have any business climbing that well because that's a deep aero wheel. On gravel, carbon spokes are just too stiff for me. And it's maybe a case of if you're racing, they're worth it. For me, I would stick to something a bit more conventional. And finally, we're gonna finish on a positive note. We're gonna finish on a God tier one. Get yourself a friend. Get yourself a friend to ride with. I've always found when going on a gravel ride, exploring my local trails, doing it with some mates is really, really good. They can do things like splash you in puddles and they can watch you fall over and hopefully film it for YouTube videos. It's always better with mates because you can go to a cafe, stop, and you can chat about how bad you are at bikes. If you want to know what my take is on the best gravel tires right now, the one that we started with, then I would go just up here and have a look at the best gravel bike tires that there are, I think, in early 2026. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, do so below. We'll see you next time.